Hey everyone, it's Tobes, and welcome to your second monitor. Today for Midweek Magic, we have the Brawl Builder Challenge. Love this event. This is building a Brawl deck using a commander from the most recent current set, which of course at the time of recording is Lorwyn Eclipsed. Brawl, if you're unfamiliar, is like Commander, but it's 1 versus 1. Both players start with 25 life. There's no commander damage rule, but you can have a planeswalker as your commander. Otherwise, you build it the same way you'd build a commander deck. You have to follow the color identity rule, it's a 100 card singleton deck, and so forth. So I'm trying something a little bit different this week. Normally, on my channel, I release a new commander deck for the current set every Thursday. And when the Brawl Builder Challenge comes around, I usually do a different commander than what I've been doing in paper. But I'm going to try something a little different this week. And if you're watching this video, I hope you'll come back this Thursday. I'm building the same deck in paper, but it's going to be pretty different. Because on Arena, every rare is just one rare wild card, and every mythic is one mythic wild card. So you don't have to worry about the prices of things. So the budget for our deck, if I can show you here in Moxfield, ends up being about $400, which is not really what we want to spend in paper. My paper decks tend to look more like $100 to $120, sometimes $150, sometimes $75. However, on the other side of things, Arena doesn't have every card available to it that you have available to you in Commander. So a lot more flexibility for the paper version of this deck, but with a much lower budget. So yeah, 2 different versions. Again, if you like this idea and you want to see me in the future build a Brawl Builder Challenge deck for the current set, and then that same week release a paper version, let me know. Anyway, let's get to our commander. So, Eirdu, Carrier of Dawn is a 5/5 legendary elemental god for 3 and double white. It has flying and lifelink, and it gives all of our creature spells Convoke, so we can tap creatures to pay for 1 mana per creature to cast those spells. The creatures we tap either provide a generic mana or a colored mana of one of the colors of the creature we're tapping. In addition, at the beginning of our first main phase, if we pay a single black, we can flip Eirdu into Eirdu, Carrier of Twilight. It's also a 5/5 flying lifelink, but instead of giving all of our creature spells Convoke, it gives all of our other non-token creatures Persist, which means when they die, if they didn't have a -1/-1 counter on it, they come back with a -1/-1 counter. And again, at the beginning of our first main phase, we can pay a white to flip it back into Eirdu. So, a pretty cool commander. It lets us either work for the Convoke, work for the Persist, or do both. So we've done mostly Persist, but we do use the Convoke a little bit. So what we want to do with this deck is ramp in our early turns and get out some cheap value creatures, around turns 3 or 4. Then we play our commander. If we have creatures in hand right then, and we have a few in play, we can immediately Convoke the creatures we have in hand, because it doesn't matter if our commander or any of the other creatures we have in play has summoning sickness when it comes to convoking them. So it plays a little bit like the Esika deck, Inga and Esika deck from March of the Machine, the blue-green, everything taps for mana for creature spells. It's sort of like Convoke, but this is even better. So then, once we get those creatures in play, or if we just want to hang back and, have our 5/5 flying lifelink and commander to block, we just wait until the next turn. At the start of our first main phase on our next turn, our commander is going to flip, and then our deck is truly online. Eirdu lets us play the Aristocrats game by giving all of our non-token creatures Persist, so we want them to just die. So we've got a lot of different cards in the deck to support that. We have 22 cards that are payoffs for our creatures dying, things that have just death triggers, many of which overlap with our drain triggers. We're doing a serious Aristocrats thing. We've got a whole lot of Blood Artists in here. We also have some outlet cards that will give us a way to sacrifice our creatures, especially after they've blocked, to get us even more value there. And since we like having our creatures die, we have lots of ways to make tokens in our deck. Different ways to fill out our board to have more blockers or maybe even more attackers, but at the very least, more fodder for us to throw in the bin so we can get our death triggers and trigger our drain. But when we have our creatures that aren't tokens die, we have +1/+1 counters that we have to put on them, which is why we have a counters section. A little collection of cards that will put counters on some, put +1/+1 counters on some or all of our creatures, that is. For example, Thran Vigil. This is 1 in a black for an enchantment that says whenever one or more artifacts and or creature cards leave your graveyard during your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. So if we have a creature persist, it will return to it'll return to the battlefield from the graveyard with a -1/-1 counter on it, trigger the Vigil, and we'll be able to put a 1/1 counter on it, and they annihilate each other. They just cancel out. So now we have no counters on it, so it can persist again right away. We've got several different things like that. That just puts 1 counter on it. Feast of Victorious Dead puts a number of counters equal to the number of things that died during our end step. Virtue of Loyalty and Felidar Retreat can put a 1/1 counter on all of our creatures. It works great for us. We also have a synergy section. These are just a few cards that we can use in cool ways with this. So for example, Sanctuary Warden, when it enters or attacks, we can remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker we control to draw a card and make a 1/1 citizen. That means it doesn't have to be one of the 2 shield counters this comes in with. It can be one of our -1 counters on one of our other creatures, giving it the ability to re-persist, but also giving us a token and drawing us a card. And that's when this enters and when it attacks. We've also got Teysa Karlov, who's in here to do synergistic things in the form of doubling all of our death triggers. So that's delightful. Plus she gives all of our tokens Vigilance and Lifelink. And we have the Duke Rebel Sentry from Avatar Eternal. This is so cool. For a single white, we get an 0/1 legendary human rebel ally that comes in with a 1/1 counter on him. So if he persists, he's going to come back with no counters on him, because he'll come in with a -1/-1 and this +1/+1, so he'll just come back with nothing. They'll just annihilate each other as a state-based action when he enters. But when he has that counter on him, we can remove a counter from him by tapping him to put a 1/1 counter on another creature and give it hexproof until end of turn. So we can use this as a nice way to protect our commander, for example, from targeted removal, and then the Duke just persists and comes back and, doesn't have a counter on him now, but yeah, we got a good value out of him. So that's a good fun time with our couple of synergy cards. I should mention at this point, there's also a considering section at the bottom of this page with a bunch of other options in it. But if you want to hear me go much more deeply into how all these cards work, come back Thursday and watch that video. That's what I do with them. So anyway, Drain isn't our only game plan. This deck is pretty interesting in that it's also a combat-focused deck with our big flying commander. Like either side, it's a 5/5 flyer. That's pretty great. And between Eirdu and Isilu's lifelink and all of our Blood Artist effects, we usually have quite a bit of life to cushion us as we absorb our opponent's blows and set ourselves up for some kind of victory. Finally, we have a few more things going on. Even though most of our creatures have at least 2 toughness, meaning when they persist, they won't immediately die, although we have a few that will, just in case, we have a couple of Anthem effects. Caretaker's Talent, we can get up to the point where our creature tokens have +2/+2, but it's really here for other token strategies. And also we have Ethereal Absolution to give all of our creatures +1/+1, so even if our actual Blood Artist dies, it comes back, and it'll come back as a 1/1, or rather as a 0/1, rather than as a -1/0 and die immediately. Although sometimes we want it to die immediately and trigger more death triggers right away. Anyway, we have a good bit of recursion in this deck. Just a couple of cards here from a few that we expect to be using, like Malakir Rebirth to sort of scam our commander back into play, or Victimize to get 2 of our creatures out of the graveyard in the process of triggering our death triggers by sacrificing one of our creatures, or things that are a little bit more aspirational, like using the Soul Stone to pay 7 into it and make it into a Debtor's Knell, or using Awakening Hall for 8 mana and returning all of our creatures cards from the graveyard to the battlefield. Interestingly as well, Luminous Broodmoth is here. This is a 4 mana white 3/4 insect with flying that says whenever a creature we control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. This is almost like a backup of our commander, because it brings back our non-flyers and gives us a way to loop them with Isilu. They come back as a non-flyer, then they die, and if Isilu's in play, they can persist their way back in, which means if they had been flyers because of these counters, that means they're not automatically flyers, so they just come back in with -1 counters. Then they die again. They won't persist, but they sure can come back with flying counters, so we can sort of loop our way through it if the game is going to last that long. Yeah, very cool. And although our deck functions pretty well without our commander, we have a couple of protection cards. Like I mentioned, the Duke. We have Swiftfoot Boots to put on whatever we need, particularly our commander, and Death Beyond Duty to protect all of our creatures and put counters on them. So yeah, all of this is on top of us eating our vegetables. We have plenty of card advantage spells. Right here, we have plenty of acceleration spells, some of which are quite expensive, some of which are just great with looping in this deck with our persist. We have interaction spells to keep our opponent's stuff off the battlefield if we're able to do that. And while we do have a section of wraths, they are very light wraths. Ethereal Absolution, giving all of our opponent's creatures -1/-1 as sort of a constant anti-anthem. It feels a little Elesh Norny, like the original Elesh Norn, but it sure does deal with tokens, with Kithkin, with elves a lot of the time. And if we can ultimate Liliana Dreadhorde General, I mean, we should be able to close out the game that turn, right? So yeah, that is our Brawl Builder Challenge deck for the week. Eirdu, Carrier of Dawn / Isu, Carrier of Twilight. This is a really cool character in the fiction and a really fun deck to play. So again, I'm going to be bringing this back on Thursday in the form of a paper commander deck. So I encourage everyone who's interested in playing Magic and paper to come and see what I've put together for it. But for today, let's get into our gameplay. Let's see how many of our opponents have also built this deck and done a better job than me. It really is fun. And there's a bunch of really interesting, like, triggers and corner cases. Okay, game one is up against Zupfkchen. Forgive me if this is like a real German word. This hand is not my favorite, but it's okay. We're going to start off with a tapped Malakir Mire. And we've got a Forest. We've got a Plains and an Ella's Ilkor, which is a nice Blood Artist and also like a Soul Sister. Tristan. Whenever it enters or transforms, we mill 3, and if there's an elf in the graveyard, they gain 2. They can flip it into a 3/4. Whenever it transforms, they mill 3, and they can exile an elf from the graveyard to make us lose 2. Okay, so they've got a little bit of a gain and drain situation of their own over there. That's okay with me. We're going to get in, and I think let's play this Welcoming Vampire so we can get a little bit of card advantage as we go, and we'll gain life in the process. So, is this a Slime Against Humanity deck? It looks like it is. This may not be that good for us. Alright, we're going to play Terminus of Return as a 2-mana rock that taps for black. And I guess we Morbid Opportunist to just have a little bit of more card advantage if we want it. We'll draw a card here as well. Iganjo's pretty good. Get in the air. And we'll see if we can get our commander out. Esper Origins again. I guess this is them flashing it back. It seems pretty good. They're going to get quite a few of these slimes. What does this thing do? Puts a permanent into their hand, gives them 2. All their stuff gets a little bit of an overrun. All right, let's not block yet, because we can always Iganjo to get rid of those things. I think I want to get out our commander right now and just hope that is helpful to us. And then we can maybe we Iganjo as land, and then we're going to convoke this Twilight Diviner, which is very good with our persist creatures. We will surveil 2. That's land. Is that worth it? I think it is. Let's put one of them into the graveyard. Let's keep our black source. And yeah, let's just convoke out this priest as well. And we've got another card draw. We can get that land right now. Good. Seems all right to me. So let's see if Eirdu survives. A lot of times people see a 5/5 flying commander and they just take it right out. Another Slime Against Humanity, sure. And another Slime Against Humanity. Are they going to attack? Or does our commander scare them off? It looks like it does. Alright, we're going to flip it over. We're going to play out our Thran Vigil, and we're going to get in. I think we're going to get in the following way. That'll be good. See how they block this. We're taking 7 in the air, and we're going up to 31 at least. Oh, they're not doing any of it. All right, well, sure. Let's end the turn, I guess. Yeah, all their creatures get bigger and get trample. So what's that? 23 damage? We're not dead. They've got Tristan, and they can mill and gain no life because there's no elves in their graveyard. Another big slime. That's pretty okay. So they come in with everything, presumably. All right. We're going to, well, all tramples. So we're just going to use our priest here. Target them. We'll sacrifice these 2 creatures. We've got some persisting going on. And a lot of death triggers. So we're surveilling into this. I think a Path to Exile is pretty good for us here. Go ahead and put that in our hand. Yep, we've got a bunch of things going on. Making copies of our creatures, and they have had enough of it. We had a lot going on there. So essentially what was going on is Twilight Diviner, whenever one or more creatures enter, if they were cast from a graveyard, cast or entered from a graveyard, make a token copy of one of them. So we got the Morbid Opportunist and made a copy of it. And since they had both died, we were able to trigger Elazil Core, both for when it died and when they all came back in. We've got something else that's going to die on their board. We're going to make some mana and draw a card, but we drew this Path to Exile, so we can get rid of one of their bigger creatures. Lots going on. And of course, the stack just gets messy as we get more and more things trigger our stuff entering to gain life or draw us cards, dying to draw us cards or have them lose life, make copies. Anyway, lots of fun stuff going on. Thrawn Vigil was going to trigger as well, so we could get rid of those -1/-1 counters by putting a 1/1 counter on something. So that is our first win. All right, and our prize is, oh, it's District Mascot. Look at this corgi. Very nice. All right, let's keep it going. All right, we've got a mirror match against Burbus. Game 2. Yeah, we're gonna try it. Don't know very much about being able to double spell here, but we can at least get up to 3 mana. We're on the play. Okay, it looks like they may be going to 6. Is it so? Yep. All right, well, we'll play our Godless Shrine and pass. They've got a Swamp. Well, we've got a Corpse Knight. Now we've got a Shattered Sanctum that we can play. That's pretty good. Let's see how they've built their deck. Probably pretty similarly, but you never know. Okay, Vampire Gourmand. We've got some classic Foundation stuff going on here. All right, let's play this Shattered Sanctum, and I guess get out our Cosmic Grand Zenith. Just see if they're willing to trade, I suppose. I kind of would like to keep our Corpse Knight, but I'm willing to give it up. Okay, that suits me. I don't want to play Urborg yet, because that makes their planes into... Oh, Chromatic Lantern. Okay, sure. Now I don't have to worry about it. So there's that. We will play the Baron, I suppose. Baron Bertram Greatwater. Get in with our Cosmic Grand Zenith. This guy's great. Whenever we make a token, we make a vampire token as well, and we can sacrifice a creature or artifact to draw a card. Alright, they've got their commander. It is in play. But you know what else is in play? Ruthless Lawbringer. We're able to make some tokens here. Lawbringer comes in, we can sacrifice something in order to just vindicate something else. Pretty solid. I really like this Ruthless Lawbringer from Thunder Junction. These are both from Thunder Junction, actually. And they've had enough. Yeah, it is tough to fight your way to get into your commander, to get to Eirdu on the battlefield, and then have it removed. But you gotta be prepared for it. That's why our curve is pretty low overall in this deck. So we can keep playing things and getting more value as we try to play our commander a second or third time. You could go into a more scammy version of this deck. Ooh, Kitesail Arsonist. Running more things like Not Dead After All, that sort of deal. But, yeah. I think it's better to just sort of focus on your other creatures and get your value there. And just trust that your deck will work. Anyway, game 3. Against It's Your Turn. If we're on the draw, then that seems crazy. Okay, it is our turn. Thank goodness. I didn't want our opponent to lie to us. All right, we are going to start. I think we'll just start with the swamp. We can go into Isolated Chapel, and then having played a basic, we can have our Abandoned Air Temple come in untapped. Let's get out Servandum. If you like Servandum, which is a super cool card, check out my channel. I'll try and link it in the video's description for a commander deck that I put out last summer when Edge of Eternities was the new hotness. Okay, we got a Life Creed duo. Seems good. What do we want to do here? I think we'll get in with Servandum. Menace is very nice for this. I don't want to accelerate someone who's on Eirdu. So we'll just play out our Bastion of Remembrance. So now we've got 2 payoffs for death triggers. Servandum getting a counter, and the Bastion draining our opponent for 1. Alright, Starlit Soothsayer. We're doing bats. If you gain or lost life, surveil 1, and then this is a Soul Sister. Okay, so they get a little surveil. That's fine. We've got a Corpse Knight. I don't think that's what I want to do. I think what I want to do is Leg Crafter. Seems good. And we'll just get rid of our Soldier. They lose their Soothsayer, perhaps? I assume they want to keep their Life Creed duo, but I could be wrong. And this way we can hold up a single white mana to play Path to Exile on something either next turn or the turn after. Oh, that's fine. Well, Servandum gets a little bigger, and we drain them for 1. Servandum still has Menace, so in we go. Alright, they've got their 2 white, so they can cast their commander when they have 1 more mana. Extraction Specialist, so they can bring back their Soul Sister. Can't attack or block, but it doesn't have to. They attack. Interesting. Alright. Well, if that's the case, Ethereal Absolution is good for later. We're going to Corpse Knight for now. And just get in with both of our creatures. See if they want to block the extraction with the Extraction Specialist. I still want to hold up this Path to Exile. It does suck that we're missing a land drop. Sure. We could path one of our own creatures to just make sure we start with 5 mana next turn, but I don't trust them to not have removal of their own. I hate to throw away a removal spell and one of our creatures just to have our commander removed. Inspiring Overseer, okay. So they look like they might also be digging for mana. Looks like they don't have it. They're stuck on 4 as well. That is fine with me. Do we just go ahead and kill the Extraction Specialist? Then they can block with the Life Creed duo. I don't want to path them at this point. What I want to do is Ethereal Absolution them. They get a Surveil. And they didn't need the land after all? Why did they get rid of it? That's bewildering to me. Well, I could have Felidar retreated and then Shattered Sanctum, but I think I would rather just play out our commander, drain them for, or have them lose a life, and then see what comes here. Why wouldn't they hold on to that land? They already had one. Why didn't they play it last turn? Is my turn count wrong? Let me know in the comments if I'm getting it wrong. Okay, they play out their commander too. Seems good. And they've got something. They're convoking, presumably. They've got a Preacher of the Schism. That's cool. Alright, continuing to gain a little life. Yep. Yeah. Definitely going to just flip our commander. Play out the Arcane Signet. Let's path their commander. Then we attack with Plaguecrafter and Isalu, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Do they take 8? They do. All right. If they've got another land, they can replay their commander and do all the convoking. But we have the advantage life, and that's it. Good game. It's your turn. All right. Well, I mean, playing a black-white deck, you want to play plenty of removal. So, yeah. That's 3-0, but we're not done. We don't ever end a video here. Ooh, Opulent Clomper. Oh, this is an alchemy card. Interesting. All right, very pretty though. I love the back. All right, well we're gonna keep going. Let's see how Eirdu and Isalu continue to go. All right, it's turn 4 versus Ashling Rekindled. Ashling Rekindled will be on my channel not this week, but next week. I think this is fine. It's a little slow, but it'll be all right. Man, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, so good. In this deck, when it's able to persist, whew. There's Ashling. They can rummage, and then they can add 2 mana they can only spend on big things. Seems good. All right, well. Here's this, and we can fracture if they play out some kind of mana rock. All right, they flip it. Oh, they get the mana right when it transforms. Oh, cool. Well, we are going to blow that up, though. Got to give them a chance to eat some removal. All right. Cosmic Grand Zenith. Could have done during Innocence, I suppose. But Ashling is a 1/3 on both sides, right? Yeah. So they got 6 mana already. It's pretty good. Turn 4. Oh. This is my favorite art for land in all of Magic. It's Eldraine 256, I believe. Awesome Mark Pool art. Love that. All right, we're going into it. We don't have a way to do 2 spells, even though I wish we did. So I suppose Enduring Innocence is what we're doing, and we're just going to pass. The Unagi is not what I'd like them to play. I'd prefer that they not. Wow, Blue Side Ashling is very good. Dragonhawk, pretty sweet. They found 2 lands, which is unfortunate. I don't think they get the ability to play more. We're going to block here this time. It's a triggered ability. Oh, that's kind of cool. Still behind on lands, though. We'll play the Broodmoth so the Cosmogrand can block. Yeah, Enduring Innocence has a death trigger, which means if it's in play and we have the persist trigger, we can have it come back, immediately die, because it'll be a 1/0, and then come back as an enchantment, which means we get double death triggers before it becomes just an enchantment. That's kind of cool. Oh, Perfected Mind. So we're doing some milling? Okay, shutting down our Broodmoth. I wasn't going to block with it anyway. That's fine. Dragonhawk gets them a couple of things. Meticulous Artisan. Oh, that's cool. Alright, we're going to block here. Let our Cosmogrand become a flyer. Draw a card. Ethereal Absolution does not give me what I need. Plains, I feel like it's a little late for us to do anything good with this, but we're going to try it. Play out Eirdu. We will attack Jace down a little bit. Just a little bit. Yep, that's fine. Hullbreaker Horror. I think that is pretty horrible. Do we just... I think we just lost this one. It's a shame. Good game, Shankenbank. I don't mind losing to Ashling. That's a fun commander. I mean, honestly, I don't mind losing to anything. Just keep going. That's what's great about Midweek Magic, especially these kinds of Midweek Magic events, that you can just keep playing endlessly and have more fun. Alright, this is game 5. We are up against Ashling the Limitless. This is the one from the Commander product. So, this is not what I want it to be, so we're going to mulligan this. That's a little better. It's not terrific, but I'll keep it. They start with Leyline of the Guild Pact. That's bad. That's pretty bad. And its path, I don't want to accelerate them. So this Ashling gives all their elemental permanent spells in their hand, evoke 4. When you sacrifice a non-token elemental, make a copy. It has haste. Okay, got it. Sneak attack it in. Well, let's just... Shattered Sanctum. Ancient Ziggurat, eh? Alright. That's funny. Alright. We have Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Here to do Priest of Forgotten Gods things. Leafkin Druid, sure. They do have mana. Alright. Well, we have a 3-drop. Okay. This next turn, I think we sad robot. Okay, get a counter on an elemental. Getting out more tap lands. Raging Ravine, oh nice. Alright, well, let's play a robot. Get ourselves another black source. And we're just gonna pass. Rabble rousing in this deck is really fun. Maybe we can even use it. Overgrowth Elemental, when another creature dies, gain life. If it's an elemental, put a counter on this creature. Oh, Invasion of Zendikar, nice. Everything being all colors, being yellow, is throwing me off. So let's see how this goes. Block with the robot. They have a trick. They don't. I do. Swords, that, sure, but it doesn't get anything off the stack. Draws us an Ethereal Absolution, that's pretty good. They have to sacrifice a creature. Will it be their Druid or their Elemental? Presumably, okay. Elemental goes away, that's fine. We get a little mana that we can't use for anything, but that's alright. So, do we want to... Path? Got a lot of small things, unfortunately. Let's just play out our commander. Or rather, we've got a lot of expensive things, and not a way to do a bunch of little things. They got Ashling. They can start convoking things, and they have just enough mana to convoke something. Will it be Thunderkin Awakener? Neat. They get to get something back. Wait, oh, never mind. That's only when it attacks. So, all right. Well, that was a lot of setup for something, but good game. Good game, opponent. I like building toward things. You build up a big board, see where it goes. Didn't end up going anywhere that time, but that's fine. Okay, game 6 is against Bree of Clan Stoutarm. Check out my channel for a Bree of Clan Stoutarm deck. I'll just put the playlist for all my commander decks in the video's description. I love Bree of Clan Stoutarm. This is a fine hand. The Jesper Aging, I can never remember how to pronounce his name. Unbelievably beautiful art. Really, really cool effects. I'm ready to lose to this giant woman. So they Prismatic Vesta into a basic mountain to get a Ragavan. Don't like that. But we have a 1-drop of our own. It's the Duke. And it will trade with Ragavan. And I will trade it with Ragavan. We've got Marsh Flats that crack it into... Sacred Foundry. Alright. Fetch Shock. Kill my Duke. Yep. Don't have anything of lesser mana value, so they do steal what's on top, which is a basic, and they get a treasure. Well, I didn't love that. I'll play the Shine Shadow Snarl and a Marionette Apprentice. Adorable. And we will get Servo. So this is one of our blood artists. Looks like they've got an interaction. They want to get rid of it. Ooh, it's Philia. I don't like that at all. Is Philia going to get rid of our token and force us to block Ragavan with our apprentice? Are they going to... Wow. Bolt in a Shatter Skull. Flage. Okay, I think our game is basically over. Apprentice is dead. Philia blinks away our servo. Yep. They get in for 4, steal the top card of our deck, and make a treasure. They can not play it. Okay. Well, we're hurting on... It feels like they're just accelerating like crazy. We can sword something, though. They can't get back Flage yet, can they? Flage requires 5 other cards. They could sure play Bree, though. This deck is a little more expensive than the one on my channel. Jewel Mine Overseer. Conjure 7 dwarves on top of their library. Then shuffle. You draw a card when they enter. Beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card you can play at this turn. Wow. And they're going to do it again. All right. It seems fine to me. We're going to get rid of Ragavan to shut down their mana production. Because they do miss their land draw. All right. Let's play out the Morbid Opportunist, I suppose. I mean, it's not blocking very well for us, but we're not able to do much. They're still at 4 cards here. They need to get 2 more in their graveyard. Guide of Souls, that's going to do a lot for them. This is a Alchemy meets Modern Horizons deck. And I guess Throne of Eldraine, sure. We're going to take the 6. We flicker the dwarves. So they can draw another card. They did find the Dalkovan encampment, so you can tap for white. Alright, at last, we can play our commander. I don't think it's going to be enough to save us, but we are going to just see what happens. Now, Philia can flip our commander back to the front side, but it only costs us 1 mana to flip it back to the back each turn, if that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know that we're going to survive until then. Another 7 dwarves, another card draw. Right. Crack the Heath. Thanks to the Guide of Souls, their life is doing fine again. So what are they attacking for here? 11? So we have to block with the Morbid Opportunist? I guess they could flicker the dwarves rather than Eirdu, but I assume they're going to flicker our commander. Oh, and they've got enough. Heist our library, good grief. They've got enough energy to make something of theirs fly. So if it's Philia, we have to just take it. Yeah, this is not a hopeful game. We didn't get anything particularly good out early. I guess we got our Marionette Apprentice. And all right, let's see what their plan is. I assume they attack with everything, flicker our commander, force us to block, and then go down to... What do they make fly? Guide of Souls? No. All right, so we have to block here. So obviously we're going to block Philia. Spare us the most damage. We're at 2. Get our commander back. We can go ahead and, yeah, flip our commander over. That's fine with me. Let's It's not really going to save us from anything. So, play the Zenith, attack with Isalu, and I think that's all. I think we're just done here. Good game, Il Postino. We'll wait through their turn, give them a chance to play a little magic and have a little fun, but hopefully they will go quickly. Yeah, Malkir Rebirth, I thought about instead including Kaya's Ghost Form, because it can deal with being put into exile as well, like airbending or flickering like Philia, or just an exile effect. But the fact that this could be a land as well, you know? Alright, let's see. If they don't target us with this, then... Okay, they did. That's fine. Go ahead to combat, swing out. Very nice. We are going to play this just for funsies. Good game. And that's all. Alright, good game, Il Postino. We are currently 4-2. We'll keep going. That's very true. Alright, game 7. We're up against High Perfect Morkant. Come back to my channel in 2 weeks to see a deck made out of her. Alright, this is okay. We can... It's not perfect, but we can try it. Dawnblessed Pennant on Elves, of course. We're going to play our Snarl. We don't need to reveal anything. We've got no 1-drops to play. And ooh, we'll play the Marionette Apprentice. Go ahead and fabricate ourselves a servo. Pass it on. If they play out something cool, maybe we hold off and we play our Lawbringer to kill Morkant. Because Morkant is going to have us blight. She's going to have us blight everything. What's this? Must be blocked. If it attacks, another elf gets bigger. That's not what I'd like to see. Well, if it must be blocked, then I suppose we might as well Lawbringer just to get rid of it. We got 2 triggers. We kill the Vinebred Brawler, drain them for 1, and get in. Morkant's going to come in. We will put our -1/-1 counter on the Lawbringer, I guess. No, never mind. Nico has had enough. Good game, Nico. I guess early game interaction. Huh. Morkant is all about interaction, so I don't know what that was about, but okay. We'll take it. And we'll keep rolling. Feel like we haven't had a big game yet. I'm hoping for one. Alright, this is game 8 against Killer Jetski with Bridget, Clocken's Heart. Very cool. Yeah, this is good. Phyrexian Tower is so fiddly on Arena. You always have to tap it manually, or it just assumes you want to sacrifice a creature. You don't always want to. They've got a Ranger class. They can level it up. Oh, is it another Slime Against Humanity deck? Alright. Well, if they're making tokens, we're going to make Kambal and steal those tokens. We attack. We'll see if they've got a trick. Nope, doesn't look like. We've got a Shattered Sanctum just in time for us. Let's play out our... Oh, we can play Ethereal Absolution if we're willing to kill off Comball. I am not. Let's play... Alright. A white, a colorless, and another colorless. Cosmogrant... Oh, nope, not that. For the Cosmogrant Zenith. And then Cruel Celebrant, making 2 soldiers, triggering Comball, draining them for 1. We'll get it an even. Sure. Alright. Mondrak. Mondrak is terrible for us. It gets a little bigger. I think we'll take the 4. Liliana would be pretty sweet right now, actually. We can play Liliana. Sack a token. Liliana. Each player sacrifices 2. We're going to get rid of the Cruel Celebrant and our other token, so we can draw 2 off of this. Drain them for 2. Pretty good. Play a land, get in for 4. That at least dealt with Mondrak before they got into some wackiness. Another slime, sure. We get 1 though, and it dies immediately. Pretty good for our Blood Artist and Liliana stuff. Another slime, it's gonna happen again. Well, I guess it's only the first time with Comball. We're gonna just go ahead and play our commander. And we'll use Lily to make a zombie. We will Phyrexian Tower away that zombie. And I think we can get a non-land permanent with this, but I think what we'll do is just play out our Funeral Room and have another Blood Artist. Plus some tokens. And drain them for 1. It's amazing how much this does altogether. And I can convoke. Let's do it. Let's bring out our Pitiless Plunderer, why not? That's what I meant early on in the video about the turn that Eirdu comes down, we can just convoke whatever we feel like into play. Alright, we get our own Kithkin, drain them for 1. Brigid adds a bunch of mana on her backside. They can attack down Liliana. That's okay with me. I don't want to lose our commander at this point. Especially when we can just fly in. Ooh, Victimize. It doesn't let us bring back Planeswalkers, does it? Alright. Here's how we're going to do this. Ruthless Lawbringer comes in. Sure, that's fine. We're going to sacrifice Pitiless Plunderer. Trigger, trigger, trigger. We're going to kill off Brigid. Could have killed off Authority of the Consuls, but that's fine. Pitiless Plunderer persists. It's back. Let's go in the air. And then we will Phyrexian Tower away this Kithkin for a few triggers. Get some treasure. We can Deadly Dispute this soldier, triggering Cosmogrant Zenith to get some soldiers back. Pitiless Plunderer, Comball, Drain, Drain. They gain some life from it, but that's okay. You know what? We're going to go ahead and take care of that right now. Comball again. Gives us a lander token. That's nice. They go ahead and crack theirs. Get a little more mana. And see, all of this malarkey puts us... We're north of 10 life above where we started. We're 15 life above where we started. Yeah, we'll just play this and pass the turn. And they're at 5 life. So we're doing just fine. Not worried about it. Other slime against humanity, which we get as well, which again triggers our death triggers. Making treasure for us. In our graveyard, we don't have 2 creatures, so we can't victimize just yet, but they got Rigid back. But we are not going to... We're not going to attack them and win. We're just going to drain them. Right now. And that's all. Good game, Killer Jetski. See, that is the way this deck plays. Just a mess of triggers, blood artists, other death triggers, things that care about our tokens. A lot of fun. Alright, let's play a 9th game. Why not? Alright, we're up against Thorna and Twigtooth. This, I believe, is... This is an alchemy card. Yeah. Enters with 2 -1/-1 counters, so it's a 4 mana 4/5. When it attacks, remove all counters from one creature. Opponent loses that much life, and topmost creature card gets +X. Okay, sure, that's crazy, but we'll keep this. Heck yes, we'll keep this. All right, we start off with our good old Wayfarer's Bauble. Alright, Knight of the Ebon Legion, that's a solid card. We're going to play Swamp and then Wayfarer's Bauble for another white source. Seems good. Pass the turn. And now we can either kill something and path something, or we can Blind Obedience them, which is pretty good too. Okay, they've got a tap land, so they're probably just going to come in with the Knight. Looks like it. Yep. Alright. Caves of Koilos, Mind Stone. Why would you tap it like that? Oh well, it did. Blind Obedience. Now we can start extorting them if we feel like it. We can also play our commander this next turn. Little concerned about the 3 best colors of removal. So we'll take 4 here. They'll put a counter on their Knight. That's okay. We got our Temple of Silence. I think... Oh yeah, we'll keep that. We're not cowards. Going into it. We won't extort this time. Don't have any creatures in play already. So if they remove our commander, we're just going to have to do some other shenanigans. But that's okay. Because this next turn, we can pay 4 for Funeral Room and extort them 1. And then leave up Path, I guess? Or leave up Emergency Eject? Yeah. You got some removal? The everyday. All right. We know how Knight of the Evolution works because they just go ahead and do it before blockers. Sure. Yeah, I played in M20 Standard, so yeah. We are going to flip it, I think. Might as well just use our mana. We'll play our Funeral Room and then pay to extort. Attack with our 5-mana Lifelinker. Let's see if they get out their commander now. We can path that. When does it trigger? When it attacks. Okay. They've got 5 mana, so if they've got a big spell, that's what we're going to path. Thinking about it. Alright, do another pump. Sounds good to me. We'll just keep taking the 6. And we'll gain the life back. We'll keep it on this side. Don't have a reason to persist or to convoke, so it doesn't really matter. Here's an arcane signet that we can extort. Tap down Isalu. That's fine. Well, we're going to emergency eject their knight to force them to use their lander token, their mana on their lander token on their turn. I gotta manually tap in this deck. I'm convinced there was a way to have extorted and cast that and still have left up a white. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, much better. So we've got our Gray Merchant. No, I don't think so. I think we're going to path our own Isalu. Get some life, or get some land out of it. Guess we shouldn't have extorted that, or we could have recast him right away. Or them right away. Let's get a white source. Back to the command zone. They don't get a surveil. Nope, we're not doing that, obviously. But we will play out Gary and extort them for 1 on that. It's not doing much for us, but I mean, it's 3 life that they'll lose and we'll gain, so sure. I assume they crack their lander token here. Or maybe they have another removal spell, you never know. There it is. The slow extortion of blind obedience. It's pretty okay. We've got enough mana now. I suppose we could have just let Eirdu go to the graveyard and then opened the Awakening Hall and just get it back. But that's 8 mana versus the 7 we've got to cast it for. Oh, Bladehold Carver. Okay. Cleaver, rather. It's just a 4/4 and a 2/3. Seems good. Well, we've got a Broodmoth. But I think we're going to play our commander first. And let's go ahead and extort. We'll attack with Gary. They've got another removal spell. Sounds fine. This is exiled, so we have to put it back in the command zone if we want it back at all. That will take all of our mana to get it back, but I don't mind that. I think we'll start with our Broodmoth, though, and hopefully we will have drawn something else that's pretty good, too. 3 mana. What are we doing here? Gonna move the Cleaver? Sure. Well, we've got 2 flyers. Pay it. And pay it. Attack for 2. So the Broodmoth won't bring back the Welcoming Vampire, but it sure will bring back Gary if we can get Gary to die, and that's exiled. Unfortunate. Devout Decree's a cool card, though. Don't see people play that often. Seems good. But now they can't attack with their Ardenvale Tactician, because then we attack and we win, assuming they don't have any more removal, which maybe they do. Alright, they're casting their commander. They can gain life off of their commander. Phyrexian Tower, huh? Alright. We've got a Blood Artist effect. So if we attack, they block the Broodmoth. They take 2 and then 3 here. We sack the Welcoming Vampire. They take 1 more. And then we Eirdu and extort it, I guess. Let's give it a try. Let's see if they do it the way I'm thinking they will. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, all right. Broodmoth dies. Trigger. Phyrexian Tower. Let's go ahead and sack this just to get it in our pool. Put them at 1. Cast our commander and extort it. Good game, Z every day. Got there. Alrighty. Well, that was game 9. We're going to play one more game and close things out. Yeah. I mentioned this at the top of the video, but it sure is fun to play on the 2 axes of sort of like aristocrats drain stuff and also creature combat. Ooh, we're up against Dizzy 16 playing Sanar, innovative first year. This is game 10. Beginning of your first main phase, reveal vivid non-land cards from the top. For each color, exile a card of that color. You can cast them. Okay, so it draws you cards. That's fine. This is okay. We're going to do this. We can The Duke into Thrawn Vigil, into Funeral Room, hopefully draw another black source so we can go into Grave Pact with it. Love playing on curve. Interested to see how Sanar plays. For my Thursday Commander decks, I did not build any of the 5 Strixhaven students, or 4 Strixhaven students and Tristan, who's going to Strixhaven, because I wanted to put them in... Ooh, Blind Obedience, maybe that's better. I think it is. I wanted to focus on... I'm sure they're going to get new versions of themselves when we go to Strixhaven in April, so I'd rather see those. But let me know in the comments if you'd like to see, you know, instead, see me build one of these little friends. I love Strixhaven as a setting. The original Strixhaven set was a blast. I'm excited that we're going back. I think that is... that's a return I'm more excited for than I was for Lorwyn. Just because I wasn't playing Magic. I was on a long break during the original Lorwyn block. But I came back around Strixhaven. And several years before Strixhaven, actually, but got into Commander around that time, and my first Commander precons were from the Strixhaven, you know, Commander 21 decks. I was actually Prismari is my favorite one. I still have that original deck, still unmodified and sleeved and ready to play. Big mana Spellslinger, yeah, I'm into it. Interesting, if I remember correctly, Sanar is the only legend... Ooh, Seer Slasher Goblin. Cool. It's the only legend from Lorwyn Eclipsed that actually cares about Vivid. I think Grave Pact is actually not going to be that great for us in this deck. If they're playing Goblins... Because it's just going to be us losing our stuff and them losing tokens, probably. But we'll see how it goes. They're obviously not going to attack with the Seer Slicer Goblin, because we'll just block it with our Plunderer, unless they have something to take out the Plunderer. If we get another mana, do we play our Commander? Just go for it? I think we do. Force them to use their, so far, only red mana to kill it? Okay, yeah, we'll take that out. All right, no luck there. So I think we just be mana efficient as much as we're able to be. And we'll attack with the... Oh, nope. We're going to attack with the Duke. Sanar triggers. They get to find Iroh's Demonstration. That's 4 damage. And Zhang. Can't play both unless they have a land in hand. But this is not bad. Oh, I like the vivid counter. It's sort of like the domain counter with the coalition symbol. Alright, Eirdu's demonstration to kill the Pitiless Plunderer. Seems good, but that does kill their commander with Grave Pact. So is this a scoop? It's an early commander kill. We'll see. Alright. And they've still got, what, 7 cards in hand? Yeah. And they've got their blue mana. Great. Well, we've got our commander. And we'll attack with the Duke. Shouldn't have attacked with him, honestly. Should hold him up so I can give Eirdu hexproof if we need. But got a little excited. Gandalf the Grey. When you cast an instant or sorcery, 3 damage. It's yeah, we'll flip it. They can bolt wave, put them on top of their library, copy that instant or sorcery, or tap something. Seems good. Well, we're going to play a Blood Artist and not extort, and play the. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and fabricate a servo. We'll play the Thrawn Vigil and not extort, so that if we are able to persist something, it will come back. Go ahead and gain 5, do 5 to them, and pass the turn. Gotta remember we have Grave Pact up, so that if they have an opportunity to kill one of our things, they're gonna lose something of theirs too. Gandalf is a rare. Sear Slicer is a rare, but it's in the deck. Oh, Roku's a mythic. I'm just thinking, because they're running a Guildgate. Surprised by that. And these are Avatar lands. I don't know. Trying to gauge the sort of experience level of our opponent. Ooh, that's pretty sweet. Alright. Inescapable Blaze. Can't be countered. Can't be escaped. 3 damage to each opponent. We're going to use the Duke to give this hexproof. They lose Inescapable Blaze. We will go ahead and block. Let's block like this. That way they kill both creatures. We have Persist and Blood Artist triggers and Grave Pact triggers. We get both of our creatures back. Grave Pact kills both of their creatures. The Blood Artist trigger, if you were wondering, was Marionette Apprentice for 1 for the servo, but also Funeral Room for both of them. And that's that. Shadowy Backstreet for us. Oh, we are not going to flip, and that's enough. Good game, DZC 16. All right. Well, overall, our record is 8-2. That seems pretty okay to me. Yeah, and that's going to cover it for us today. I want to remind you that today is Tuesday. This Thursday, I will be releasing an Eirdu Isalu commander deck on the same channel. So make sure to like and subscribe and ring the bell if you want to be notified when that and any of my videos are posted. And let me know in the comments what you thought of this and what you think of the idea that I'm doing this week of releasing the same commander but as a Brawl deck and then as a commander deck, which are very different games from one another, very different formats, even though they are superficially the same. So yes, like I said, like and subscribe, ring the bell, and remember most of all that magic is fun. You should play more Magic.